talking about like famous people earlier, like icons, pop stars, right? And on the other side of it, I wanted to talk about like what it meant to be a fan, and like, are you a fanatic? Do you guys have just someone that you hold up to like the highest level that if you were to like meet them, you do the craziest thing, like jump them, hug them, who knows what? Yes, I like that expression. But no, like, do you guys have someone that you follow that like you do the craziest thing for?
I don't. That's a good question. I think if you asked me this question 10, 15 years ago, I definitely would have had an answer for you. But I think as I've gotten older, the novelty of celebrity has kind of worn off a little bit. If I'm thinking about people who I would, freak out over, I don't know if there's anybody who I could currently say I would freak out over. I think I could get starstruck. I think I could meet a celebrity or an actor or an actress and be like, wow, I don't know what to say because I've always been such a big fan of yours and I don't want to say the wrong thing or something like that. But yeah, I don't think any current celebrity or figure could get me to that point. No. I don't know. That's a good question. That is a good question. I mean, if fictional characters were a thing, if this was some sort of multiverse situation, but celebrity or icon, no, I don't know. Yeah, like I said, I think the novelty of celebrity has kind of worn off for me as I've gotten older.
Yeah, I think for me, I always watch so many interviews because my mom really loves like VH1 Inside the Music stuff.
Sure.
Where the celebrities talked about how like they had bad experiences from people who were wanting to like hug them or saw them in such a high light that I kind of knew from like a really young age. Hey, if I ever meet somebody very famous, they're not different from me. They're just somebody that is popular.
Yeah.
So treat them as human as possible. I think for me, the person that I'd be the most excited to meet, it would be Jackie Chan.
Interesting. Okay.
And it's because Jackie Chan had such a big hold with me growing up with my grandma. My grandma loved him. We watched all of his movies that she could get access to here in the States. So if I saw him, I wouldn't want to jump Jackie Chan and like hug him because he's going to kick me in the mouth. 65, he's probably still, or 70, he's probably still got it. But I would be like, I hope I'm not bugging you, but I want to say that I love everything you've done has been very important to me in my life. Mm-hmm. I would love to shake your hand. And that's probably as far as I would go. I've never had like the girls who like saw the Beatles. Yeah. People are like, oh my God, I have to touch you. No. Yeah. I do not have to touch you. I would like to do this.
Yeah.
But yeah, I can't say that because I've seen so many interviews where it really dragged them down.
So a lot of it has to come with like knowing and being connected, being centered, and just trying to relate. But what do you guys think drives people to that point? And the reason I'm bringing up this topic is because Yolanda Sandoval, right, Sandoval.
Yeah,
I'm butchering the last name. Sorry.
Good.
Yeah, right.
Doesn't deserve it.
Had her petition to be released early from parole. For those people that don't know, she was a fan of Selena Quintanilla.
She was the manager.
She was the manager as well of the fan club. And she shot her.
Yep.
Yeah.
So she's been in jail all this time, 30 years. Again, for those people that don't know, Selena was a huge Texan
culture
Mexican-American icon. She was a very, very young singer. She was one of the first ones from America to try and reach out to other countries and have an impact on that. And there's some pockets that like recognize her, idolize her. But she died young.
Yeah.
So what do you guys think like drove her to do this? And were the consequences of that thing just?
I'm not gonna touch what drove her to do that. I'm not gonna touch that one with a 10-foot pole. But what I will say is, I think that, again, like how sort of the novelty of celebrity has worn off for me as I've gotten older. I think a big part of that is because of the access we have to celebrity in 2025 via social media, via all of these backstage, interviews that people do. Like, if you want to know about a celebrity, it's a quick YouTube search and you can find out pretty much, in their own words, everything that they believe and everything that they've ever said.
Yeah, some are just so upfront just on TikTok.
Yeah, exactly.
You're just chilling with that person, essentially,
or
watching their
live
days.
streams through Instagram. Like, so I think right now there's already that connection that people feel like they have. There's a term for it that I'm forgetting. Parasocial relationships, with celebrities, because you can be in the chat room with Doja Cat and she might call out your comment and you feel like you actually spoke to her, where she just read some text off of a screen. So I do think that nowadays it's you're less likely to find like super fans like that, because a lot of people feel like they already have relationships with these celebrities. So I think back in the 90s or whenever this happened with Selena, you have this built up image of who she is in your head, but you have absolutely no way to share your feelings with her, to know if she's actually like that in real life. Like, all you know her is through her music, like maybe a few interviews here and there that you might have caught on Dateline or 60 Minutes or something, but you don't have access to the internet where you can just go and look up those interviews again. So I think just the novelty of the celebrity, it was just much harder to wear off in years past than it is now.
I mean, that's a good point, because like before there weren't that many icons, right? You would say how many famous people versus
do you think so?
People?
I think there are less icons now because of that. I think, like,
you make your icons.
Sure, yeah, but I think, again, celebrities just have you're more aware of the flaws in celebrities now so it's harder for celebrities to be your heroes, right? Because it's like,
you do truly know that they're human.
You know everything about them.
Yeah.
You need some level of mystique.
You didn't know
be
that
a hero or an icon.
That, and not speaking to Selena, but you didn't know that the singer that you were infatuated with was posting up that they have marital problems.
Yeah, exactly.
Or that they're like, oh man, they got in trouble because they went to a Burger King and said, you don't know who I am.
Yeah. Or are secretly a Nazi. You're
seeing them in a more human light.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You do.
So yeah. That's what I think. I think it's much harder. It's harder to idolize someone when you can see the warts on them, like,
fair.
It's harder to have someone put someone on such a high pedestal when you've seen sort of the dark side of who they are.
Mm-hmm. I kind of think so. To the first part of your question of like what drives somebody to do that, it is hard to place. To me, you could make the argument: is it mental illness? Was it some really weird level of love, infatuation? I think with a lot of it, it's just evil. Pure and through, because, well, in the regard of doing it to what happened to Selena, when you would do physical harm to somebody that you love, that is where it's narcissism. It's just evil, because again,
it's bad.
Because it's not love. It's were right. It was infatuation. You can't love someone who you never met before.
Exactly, but so many people get held up on these like ideals or these. Oh yeah, pen pals. You don't want to discount cyber friends.
Yeah, and I think you can have love for someone, like, because I think, I don't know. That's another question. I guess I'm thinking about like people who have done great things for humanity. Like if I think about Dr. Martin Luther King, like I don't think it's wrong to say that I loved him without ever really having.
Yeah, you never met him,
but
it's different types.
I guess I loved what he did. I can't say that I loved him, but I loved what he
his message.
Did. Yeah.
His actions, what he stood for,
But it's just crazy though, because it's like you bring up the stuff with Selena and Yolanda, Twitch streamers now, and I don't know if you guys had seen this one, but there was a few well-known female streamers who were at a amusement park, and a dude started following them around, and then was like trying to get their number, and then once they said no, he was trying to get to them, and it's just like. Again, I don't know if that's mental illness. I don't know what what drives you, but it's just, to me, it's just evil, man. Let people be.
So is it good to be so connected in a sense with and engaged with pop stars, rock stars, anyone in the limelight right now, or should you have more of a keep that boundary and because I see a lot of some of the culture around me is like they're all about this one person or this other person, and like Bad Bunny, so many fanatics, and they'll be like, oh, he did this or he did that, and then they'll follow. Same thing with like Peso Pluma. It's like, oh, his relationship. Yes, I get it. He's going up and down, and there's been temptations, and he probably shouldn't have done that, or he did this, and it's shocking. Shocking is not the word, but yeah. So
yeah, no, I get it. Yeah, I don't think they have a choice, to be honest. Though I think if you put yourself and your life out there for the public to put under a microscope, you're gonna get what you're gonna get.
Yeah, but should fans be that way too? Like,
I don't think so.
Again, to the social media disconnect from last episode. Like,
yeah.
At this point, are we to a point where, like, if it starts to get to you're obsessed over someone?
Should they? Absolutely not. Will they? Absolutely.
Yeah.
It's one of those things of like, should I eat this cheeseburger or have the lettuce wrap? I'm probably gonna eat the cheeseburger.
Yeah.
It's kind of like, should versus will or would that's a different conversation, because again, if you put yourself out there and you're gonna allow your life to be examined by strangers, you kind of have to deal with the consequences of that. Not to say that they deserve whatever happens to them, but you got to put yourself in situations where you can protect yourself. If you're a celebrity of a certain caliber, and people are gonna be infatuated with you and that's gonna create stalkers. That's just the reality, right? So you kind of have to plan for stuff like that. Hire security, make sure you're not posting your address online, doing things to prevent yourself from real world dangers because of the virtual world that you've allowed your fans to have access to. It's a very thin line, but I think especially with these streamers who are becoming more popular, to Matt's point, like most of them are just regular people.
Yeah,
most of them are people who have had fame thrust upon them very quickly, and they don't necessarily know how to manage that fame. And then things like this, where when you're out in public and last year nobody knew who you were, but now everybody knows who you are. That change can be very abrupt. So it's sort of like you kind of have to, again, have the level of awareness not to put yourself in situations like that, and when they do arise, make sure you have fail safes in place so that nothing, so that you're not actually put in any real danger.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Put in harm.
Again, not to say that they should have to walk around with bodyguards, but again, there's a difference between you shouldn't have to and the reality of you might need to.
Yeah.
Like that's just the reality of the world that we live in today.
And that's the world that they chose.
This point, you want it to be famous, but you have to take the good and the bad with that. Like,
it's still just bullshit though. Because again, like, I don't know. It's hard to say, and like, because I don't want to sit there and like group up like mental illness into like this big thing.
Yeah,
but it's
some
like
people
if
are
you're
just dicks.
Yeah, and again though, if you're not, yes, that person is famous, but they don't owe you anything. Even though a lot of people will make an argument, oh well, I made you famous because I subscribed, I did this. Oh no, they're still a human being.
Yeah,
and that to me will always blow my mind that that parasocial can go as far as, well, I made you famous.
Yeah.
Go get help.
It's the difference between finding an immediate solution for a problem and then finding the root cause of the problem.
Yeah.
If you find the root cause is obviously people need to grow the fuck up and realize that celebrities don't owe you anything, and they're just people, and they're just personalities. Most of them put on characters. Most of them aren't the people that you see on social media. In real life. So that's the long-term solution, is to understand and realize that, and maybe try to teach our kids that. But the short-term solution is be aware of your surroundings.
Yeah.
And be careful what you post, and be careful what you say. Okay.
All right. And then just to like bring it back to Selena, and like obviously we hold a moral compass. What ended up happening is she went to jail, didn't get parole, right? But Selena as an icon is still in the limelight to this day, and I think it's gonna continue to be that way. Just like how you said last week, one of your top rotations, no, one of your favorite musicians was Mac Miller, right?
Yeah.
To what point do we stop, being fans, or like having them be in that limelight, and what point do we let someone that went through such a tragic thing finally rest?
Ooh,
That's a tough question.
Michael Jackson, Prince. I mean, those
Yeah.
Freddie Mercury, Queen. I feel like
Yeah. Do they want to rest?
Do they get the
in
choice?
that sense?
Like in
they
the
don't have a
sense?
say.
Well, and
I think music,
legacy,
you make
right?
art, you
Yeah.
make music for it to stand the test of time.
No, I agree. Yeah.
And I think I don't, can you let that person rest? No, I think, is that bad? I can't really say yes or no to it, but again, look at Prince, look at Freddie Mercury. These are singers who were the upper echelons of their genre. And you're never going to tell somebody at a fucking sports game, play We Are the Champions.
Yeah.
You're never going to get people who aren't busting out Purple Rain,
Yeah.
because these are just super iconic songs. And so I don't think you ever really will hit a moment where you can truly let them rest, because they created music to stand the test of time.
I guess in that point, like you want to know why we're idolizing them. Going back to that a little bit, it's like,
Oh, so you see,
they did,
by still listening,
so
you're
like
still idolizing.
listening, yeah.
Mm.
Yeah, by listening, you're still idolizing. By like having, so I think the movie theater that I'm at did a 20th or 30th anniversary of Purple Rain, and it did great. And so we bring back, anniversaries and all that stuff, all for the point of, is it monetization, or is it idolization, or is it just respect and you hold the utmost?
Yeah, I mean, I think it depends. I think it can be seen as like greed from the studio or whoever owns the rights to that, music or those movies. But if it's the family of the person, I don't think there's anything wrong with that. I think that person would want to know that, hey, I'm continuing to take care of my family after my death. If it's just somebody if it's again like some corporation who owns it, then yeah, it's kind of shady. But at the same time, the fans are the fans. The fans are gonna always enjoy it. The fans are always gonna stream that music. So again, that part of it is like sort of like it's just business type thing. I don't necessarily see that as a negative thing, as long as they're not going in and doing something like making AI versions of new music or something for the artist, because I don't think anybody would want that.
Not even line in the sand, line in the freaking concrete.
Yeah.
If you're AI using their voice to make new songs, no.
But if you're putting out anniversary editions of albums or movies, I don't think there's necessarily anything wrong with that. Personally, I'm trying to see where people could have a problem with that, and personally, I don't.
Yeah, that's a hard one.
Yeah.
I would love to see though, if someone is if it has that kind of similar point, please, I would love to have that explained to me.
I would love to hear it too.
All right.
Well, good one, man.
I guess we let them live on, and just think about how you're idolizing anything at this point, right?
Yeah. Be conscious of your idolizations.